October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and our conversation with members of Indiana County's Domestic Violence Sexual Assault Task Force, brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And in the remote studio this morning, Ashley Pisarchik, Whitney Carmichael, Jenn McCroskey. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you with us, and you all did that in perfect harmony. Nicely done.
We practiced.
Did you really? Ashley, of course, you have led this effort for quite a few years, at least in terms of your conversation with me and getting these interviews set up. So let's start with you. And I know it's different this year. Everything is. But what's going to be happening around Indiana County for domestic violence, sexual assault awareness?
Thank you for having us. We appreciate you guys always having us here and letting us speak. Being that it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we are not doing a lot of our usual activities. There will not be a homecoming parade, so we won't have our float, which is always fun for us to do. Mm-hmm. We're doing a lot more online campaigning, just posting and on our Facebook page, just information and support that is in this community so people are aware. The theme this year is hashtag one thing. So we want people to look at what's the one thing you can do to help end domestic violence in Indiana County. Mm-hmm. And your one thing, and my one thing, and Whitney's one thing, and Jen's one thing. You know, eventually the whole community's one thing turns into a movement, and that's how we can bring about change in this community. So Jenn and Whitney both work at different agencies that, you know, they can talk about their role in this community and how they can provide support. So I don't know who wants to go first. But.
All right. Who wants to go first, Whitney or Jenn?
I guess I will. So my name
Okay, hang on a second. Hang on a second here. That microphone is not working right. So maybe swing over to the other microphone there.
So my name is Whitney Carmichael. I work at the Alice Paul House. For anyone who doesn't know what the Alice Paul House is, we're the Comprehensive Victim Service Center in Indiana County. So not only do we deal with victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, but we also deal with victims of juvenile offenders as well as other crime. So our events are kind of looking a little different as well. Normally we have a candlelight vigil every year. Unfortunately, we're not able to have that in person. So we moved to a social media online campaign for 31 Days of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So individuals can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and they can post pictures along with each of the day's themes. And we also usually have a Bark Against Violence event that raises awareness around the correlation between domestic violence and animal abuse every year, but also, again, due to COVID, we're not able to have that in person. So we're going to have a Bark Against Violence event online where we're going to have a costume contest for pets, raise a little awareness because we see individuals that don't want to come to shelter because they don't know what to do with their animals. And that's something that we want to continue to raise awareness around.
Well, that's something that I never thought of, is that animal situation, that pet situation. It becomes a very serious thing because people might hang around in a very dangerous situation simply to protect their pets.
Yeah, we see that a lot of families don't want to leave because of their pets. So we're actually able to work with the Humane Society as well as Four-Footed Friends. So if an individual comes into shelter and they have an animal, we have a collaboration with them that they're able to house that animal for us while the individual's in shelter and getting back on their feet, which is a really nice collaboration that we've created within the county.
Whitney, while we're talking with you, Alice Paul House, of course, the new facility. Give me an update. Where does it stand right now?
So as of right now, it's still in the works. I think we're hoping that we're going to be able to move in within the next month or so. So it's something that at some point, probably not this fall, hopefully in the spring, we'll be able to have an actual grand opening and people will be able to come and see the new facility. So we're very excited that we're able to finally move into a new facility that will be able to house more individuals and kind of continue to grow our services within the community.
Yeah, was that slowed down by pandemic, by construction?
It was, yeah. Due to COVID, they had to stop construction.
Meanwhile, the other place, it's barely standing, but it's served you well.
It has served us well. It's been 5 years in the making, so this is something that we're very excited about happening.
Yeah, let's talk to Jenn McCroskey next. Jenn, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And you're with?
I am with IUP. I am actually with the IUP Haven Project. So we're the department on campus that does education and support around domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking. So with COVID, just like Ashley and Whitney said, COVID has definitely changed some things up this semester. So just wanted to give some statistics, just short ones related to college students. So we find out that 57% of college students say dating abuse is difficult to identify. 58% said they don't know how to help someone if they are in an abusive relationship. And then over half of them actually who self-report say that occurred while they were in college. So we know this is a big issue, and we're still trying to do education and awareness around it at IUP at this point.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about that, of course, is that IUP, for the most part, the campus is much emptier than normal. You've got freshmen on campus. You've got people living in the apartments around the campus who aren't technically living on campus. But you also have people living in their home communities, and that could be anywhere. But all of them could be affected by domestic violence, and being able to help them all becomes more of a challenge, doesn't it?
It does. It does make it a little more challenging. We're trying to find some new creative ways to reach out. Like you said, we have freshmen in the residence halls right now. So one of the things that we were doing, we actually have a program called the Silent Witness Display, and it is rotating through all of our residence halls this month for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And the Silent Witness Display is actually silhouettes. They're life-size silhouettes of people who have been killed due to domestic violence situations. We have 6 of them, and we have stories, and we update the stories every so often. And they're stories of children and adults who have had relationships that unfortunately ended in a death. And it's a great way to bring awareness to the campaign. It lets people know that it's real and it can happen to anyone. And then we always have information around there to show support. So information for Alice Paul House, information for Haven Project for the Counseling Center, Title IX, all the different areas that are available to help people, obviously university police and outside agencies as well. So we try to make sure that we have that balance of all of that put together. That started in 1990. In Minnesota, that campaign, and they brought it, and it's just grown since then. So now we're trying to bring awareness to domestic violence by rotating it, letting the freshmen be able to see these because they haven't seen them before. Yeah. So we have that, and then we actually have a program coming up. There's one tonight, and there's one on the 19th. It's called What's Love Got to Do with It? It's a combination of learning a little bit about love styles and love languages and how that can play a role in domestic and dating violence. So there's a nice combination. Like I said, we're doing a lot of stuff differently because we can't do a lot of the face-to-face. So we still have tabling and everything, but with this presentation tonight is all on Zoom. So we're encouraging people to tune in, and it's tonight 6:30 to 7:30, and it's on Zoom. So we're encouraging different students, faculty, staff, administration, community members, if they're interested, they can contact us and find the information out to log on. And like we said, we've been doing a lot with social media, just like the other two have mentioned. Social media is a big push right now because, like you pointed out, half of our students are not actually on campus. So for us to be able to reach some of them, we have to reach out through social media. So we're doing posts just like APH and just like the task force. We're sending out posts trying to show videos, show information, show resources. So that's what we've been really focused on for this month.
Ashley Pisarchik, let's talk a little bit more about domestic violence in the pandemic culture because we got statistics earlier in the pandemic when people were really bottled up inside, didn't have any opportunity to get outside, that domestic violence was on the rise across the nation. I don't know if you noticed that locally here in Indiana County, but it's always been a problem, and there are stresses in 2020 that are even more marked, and so that has people even on more of an alert, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and I think that's why, even though we're not maybe as visual in the community, on the streets with those campaigns, we're trying to get the word out there because everyone's going through so much stress right now. It's putting strains on marriages, relationships, children, the whole school subject. It's such a confusing time for everybody. And violence, when you feel that stress and tension, violence is on the rise in some relationships. So we absolutely want to get the word out that we're here. We're here. We're going to believe you. We're going to find you support. We're going to help you any way we can. The task force is made up of so many community members, not just, the typical victim advocacy agencies that you think of, but we have law enforcement, the DA's office, the care center who helps with children, CYS. Come on, girls! I'm trying to think of the other agencies. Pine Grove, the jail, aging services, the guidance center, Laurel Legal. I mean, there are so many people in this community that care. So we just ask that everyone during the month of October and all year round, join us because we're gonna, we mourn those lives that have been taken, that have been lost to domestic violence. but we also want to celebrate the tremendous progress that victim advocates have made in this community and helping connect one another with a true sense of unity. And this is going to be what helps us hopefully end domestic violence.
Whitney and Jenn both mentioned events and social media platforms that are available for people who are experiencing domestic violence or think they might be in a dangerous situation. I'm sure that as this month unfolds, you've got some resources in that respect too, yes?
Absolutely. The task force has a Facebook site where we post pretty regularly. A lot of times we will, if anyone reaches out there, we will connect them with Alice Paul House, to help give them direction. We get calls, throughout the year of just people reaching out to other community members. It's a beautiful collaboration because I may not know how to help that person. Someone on the task force might not know, but I know someone who will help you. So I can make a call and get you in contact with a person. So that's the point of this task force and this collaboration is we're in every aspect of this county and hopefully in so many areas to be able to help, not just Indiana, not just one little town, but every part of this county.
Did you say that's Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, that's your Facebook. How do they get there?
Indiana County Domestic Violence Sexual Assault Task Force.
All right, let's swing back around to Whitney and ask her about Alice Paul House and how folks can take advantage of your services.
So through the COVID pandemic, we've been open this entire time. So people can reach out to us. They can call us. Our hotline number is 724-349-4444. We also do have an email. So it's info@alicepaulhouse.org that people can reach out to, as well as social media. I believe our our tag is APH Shelter on Facebook and Instagram. So they can reach out through any of those platforms. But we do encourage our clients to actually call and talk to someone, but we use the other platforms in case they're not able to actually reach out.
And Jenn McCroskey?
Okay, for IUP Haven Project, our phone number is 724-357-3947. And then on Facebook, you can find us at IUP Haven Project. And at Twitter and Instagram, you can find us at IUP Haven. So people can reach out there, or they can reach out to the Counseling Center as well, which is 724-357-2621.
Mm-hmm. And for all of you ladies, I know we've talked in the past, and we only have less than a minute to go here, but women might be reluctant to move forward, even when they're the victims of some very serious domestic violence. So we need to emphasize that privacy is a part of the protection process, and that you do your absolute hardest and best to make sure that everybody. Protection is the key word, isn't it?
Yeah, I can say from the Alice Paul House standpoint, all of our services are absolutely 100% confidential and at no cost to the victim survivor. So at no point do we tell anyone if they come and receive services from us.
The Domestic Violence Sexual Assault Task Force of Indiana County. Visit them on Facebook, Alice Paul House, IUP's Haven Project. Ashley Pisarchik, Whitney Carmichael, Jenn McCroskey, thanks for visiting with us this morning.
Thank you.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160 and AM 1160 and